Our today lecture is about genetic mapping in humans. This is a chromosome mapping technique which can identify genes present on different chromosomes and their specific location on a chromosome. So in this lecture, we will cover about the different aspects of genetic mapping in humans and the DNA markers which are used in genetic mapping in humans and the different types of chromosome maps developed with the help of chromosome mapping technique. Genetic mapping determines on which chromosome a particular gene is present and what is its specific location on that chromosome. So, with the help of genetic mapping technique, the position of a gene on a chromosome is determined and it can also specify the location of that gene on that chromosome. Genetic mapping is a chromosome mapping technique that is used to assign position and spacing of particular identifiable biochemical landmarks, including genes located on the DNA of chromosomes. So chromosome mapping is a technique which can assign position and spacing of particular identifiable biochemical landmarks on a chromosome. And in addition to this biochemical landmarks, the position of genes located on the DNA chromosome can also be determined with the help of chromosome mapping. So the genetic mapping is one type of chromosome mapping technique, and this genetic mapping is based on the concept of linkage. So this genetic mapping is also known as linkage mapping. The genes present on the same chromosome are said to be linked, and this phenomena is known as linkage. The genes present on a chromosome, they are said to be linked, and during meiosis these linked genes, they are transferred to the daughter cells as a whole, and they do not separate from each other in most of the cases. If the genes present on the chromosome, they are closer to each other, it is most likely they will be transmitted as a whole to the daughter cells. The first genetic map was given by Alfred Henry Sturtevant. So the first genetic map was given by a student of Thomas Hunt Morgan named Alfred Henry Sturtevant. The experiments which laid down the foundations of chromosome mapping were started by Thomas Hunt Morgan, a famous geneticist. And after analyzing the results of these experiments, his student Alfred Henry Sturtevant, he gave the genetic map, first genetic map. This genetic map contained three genes present on an autosome of Drosophila melanogaster. In human genetic mapping have been used in human genetic mapping has been used successfully to find the genes responsible for rare genetic disorders which are controlled by the single genes. So genetic mapping in humans have been used to identify the genes responsible for rare single gene inherited disorders such as Duchenne muscular dystrophy and cystic fibrosis. The cystic fibrosis is a autosomal recessive genetic disorder in which the functions of lungs and pancreas are impeded. And the Duchenne muscular dystrophy, in case of Duchenne muscular dystrophy, it is a progressive muscle degeneration disorder. Genetic mapping is useful in guiding scientists to many genes that are believed to play a role in the development of more common disorders such as asthma, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and psychiatric conditions. So the genetic mapping can also identify a number of genes which are involved in the development of genetic disorders such as asthma, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and psychiatric conditions. So the genes responsible for these disorders are also identified with the help of genetic mapping. Genetic mapping can also be used, and it is helpful to identify genes responsible for certain traits of interest, such as the eye color, eye shape, the height in humans, and etc. So the genetic mapping can greatly help in the identification of genes responsible for various traits of interest. There are different types of the chromosome maps, and these different types of chromosome maps, they are based on which unit is used to identify distance between the genes on the same chromosome, and which are the landmarks used to be located on a particular chromosome. So there are different types of the chromosome maps. One of this is the genetic map. In case of the genetic map, the distance between the genes present on the same chromosome is given in terms of a unit known as centimorgan. It is abbreviated as CM. Centimorgan. This unit was named to honor the great achievements of the geneticist Thomas Hunt Morgan. In case of cytogenetic map, the various landmarks, biochemical and morphological landmarks of the chromosome, they are shown. So the cytogenetic map, it depicts the various biochemical and the morphological features on a chromosome. And the physical map, it gives the distance between different loci and the genes in terms of base pairs. So the physical map, it can give distance between different landmarks of the genes present on the chromosome in terms of the base pair. So these were the different types of chromosome maps which are developed in chromosome mapping. So how the how a genetic map is constructed? To construct a genetic map, first thing is to isolate. To isolate the blood or tissue samples are collected from members of families in which a certain disease or trait is prevalent. So to construct a genetic map, blood or tissue samples are collected from members of the families in which a certain disease or trait of interest is prevalent. Different laboratory techniques are used to isolate DNA from the blood or tissues of these individuals, and then it is examined it for unique patterns that are seen only in family members who have the disease or trait. Then the data is recorded for that particular trait or the presence or absence of the disease in the members of the families. Then the DNA is DNA of different members of the families. It is code for the presence of certain characteristic patterns in the chemical basis to make up DNA, and these landmarks, they are referred to as the DNA markers. So the data for the DNA markers in the individuals or the families which have a particular disease or trait is recorded. This is the genotypic data. And the data for the presence or absence of that particular disease or trait is known as the phenotypic data. And different softwares are used. Different softwares are used to analyze the morphological phenotypic data and the genotypic data, and by analyzing these softwares, they can identify the genes responsible for the disease or a particular trait of interest. In the past, genetic mapping was based on morphological traits, but now DNA markers are used in genetic mapping techniques. DNA markers have greatly facilitated genetic mapping in humans. With the development of DNA markers, genetic mapping technique has been greatly accelerated in human beings. The different types of DNA markers which are being used in genetic mapping in humans are RFLPs, restriction fragment length polymorphisms, SSRs, simple sequence repeats or microsatellites, AFLPs, amplified fragment length polymorphisms, random amplified polymorphic DNAs, STS sequence tagged sites, and the most recently the DNA marker which is extensively used in genetic mapping is SNPs, single nucleotide polymorphisms. SNPs they have the greater resolution as compared to other marker systems. An RFLP occurs and restriction fragment length polymorphism occurs when the length of a detected fragment varies between individuals. Each fragment length is considered as an allele and can be used in genetic analysis. SSRs are they are also known as microsatellites. These are short, repetitive sequences that are found throughout the genome and they vary in the number of repeats at any given site. So the SSR, the number of repeats for a given sequence varies at any locus, and this variation in the number of repeats, it is the polymorphism associated found in different individuals of the same species, and the number of repeats the data is recorded in the number of repeats, and this is the genotype data. AFLP uses restriction enzyme to digest genomic DNA followed by amplification of the restriction fragments. In case of AFLP, data is scored as presence, absence of polymorphisms. So in case of the AFLP, data is scored in the form of presence or absence of polymorphisms of the restriction fragments. Wrapped markers are decamer. Decamer means they are composed of 10 nucleotide length DNA fragments from PCR amplification are random segments of genomic DNA with single primer of arbitrary nucleotide sequence and which are able to differentiate between genetically distinct individuals. But there is a problem associated with wrapped. This is the reproducibility problem. The wrapped DNA markers have the reproducibility problem. It means that a band which is scored at one time, it is possible that the next time this band may not be scored in the laboratory. So due to this reproducibility problem, the wrapped use is limited these days. A sequence tagged site STS is a short 200 to 500 base pair DNA sequence that has a single occurrence in the genome and whose location and base sequence are known. STS can be easily detected by the polymerase chain reaction using specific primer. So the STS they can be amplified by the PCR reaction by use of special primers, and these DNA markers STS they are also in use in human genetic mapping technique. But largely the DNA marker which is being used recently is SNP, single nucleotide polymorphism. It is a DNA sequence variation occurring when a single nucleotide such as adenine, thymine, cytosine, or guanine in the genome differs between individuals of a species or paired chromosome. So, NSNP has great resolution at the nucleotide level. So, when there is a difference between the individuals of the same species at a single nucleotide level, this polymorphism is known as single nucleotide polymorphism. It is widely used to identify genes associated with different disorders or diseases in human beings, and it is also being used extensively in plants and other animals. So the presence of a DNA marker, it, the DNA marker don't by themselves identify the gene responsible for the disease or trait. The DNA marker, they roughly indicate where the gene is on the chromosome. So the DNA markers, they indicate the location of a gene on a chromosome. The DNA marker is near to the gene, but it doesn't mean that that DNA marker is the gene. It just indicates the position of the gene on a chromosome. So during the meiosis, during the gamete formation, the paired chromosomes that make up a person's genome exchange stretches of DNA. So during first meiotic prophase, the homologous chromosomes, they come closer to each other and they form the synapse. And this structure is known as tetrad. In the tetrad stage, the non-sister chromatids of homologous chromosomes, they exchange segments of chromosomes, and this exchange of segments of chromosomes, it is known as crossing over, and it results in the reshuffling of the alleles between the non-sister chromatids, known as recombination. This recombination, it creates new combination in the gametes. The single chromosome in a reproductive cell contains some stretches of DNA inherited from the person's mother and some from his or her father. So due to the recombination process, there are the new combinations which are present in the gametes, and these are the basis, and this is the basis for the variation in the coming generations. If a particular gene is close to a DNA marker, the gene and marker will likely stay together during the recombination process, and they will likely be passed on together from parent to child. If the DNA marker and the gene associated with certain disease or trait of interest, they are very close to each other, it is most likely they will be transmitted to the gametes together. If each family member with a particular disease or trait also inherits a particular DNA marker, it is very likely that the gene responsible for the disease lies near that marker. The more DNA markers there are on a genetic map, the more likely it is that at least one marker will be located close to a disease gene and it will be easier to locate that gene. So during the genetic map construction, the number of markers should be large enough, and this large number of markers, it assures that there must be a one marker which is close to that gene which is associated with the particular disease or trait of interest, so we can find out one marker uh, which is closer to a gene associated with the disease or trait of interest. So in the genetic mapping studies, it is optimum that the number of DNA markers must be large enough. One of the major achievements of the Human Genome Project was to develop dense maps of marker space evenly across the entire human genome. So during the Human Genome Project, which was for the sequencing of the human genome, the dense maps of markers which were spaced evenly across the entire human genome were developed, and these the maps helped largely in the identification of genes associated with various traits of interest. So this figure, it depicts the genetic map for the chromosome 1 and X chromosome in humans. On chromosome 1, certain genes are located and these genes are identified with the help of genetic mapping technique. On chromosome 1, there is a GDH gene, glucose dehydrogenase. GDH, glucose dehydrogenase. The next gene is the RH, which is closer to the GDH gene. This RH gene is responsible for the rhesus blood group. The next gene is the AMY1, amylase first. Then is the PCM1. This is a phosphoglucomutase. The next gene is the 83 responsible for antithrombin, clotting factor 4. Then is the PPC, peptidase C. The next gene is the FHM, fumarate hydroxylase mitochondrial. So these are the different genes present on chromosome 1 in case of human beings identified by the use of genetic mapping technique. Similarly, on chromosome 1, there is the DMD gene. Duchenne muscular dystrophy. This gene is responsible for the progressive muscle degeneration. Then the next gene is the PGK, phosphoglycerate kinase. The next gene is HGPRT, hypoxanthine guanine phosphoriboside transferase. The next gene is CB, color blindness. The gene responsible for color blindness, and if this gene is in the mutant form, the individuals cannot differentiate between red and green colors. The next gene is very closer. These three genes, they are located very close to each other. CB, HEM1, hemophilia A, HEMA, hemophilia A. The next gene is G6PD, glucose phosphate dehydrogenase. So these genes, they are located very closer to each other. Their distance is in centimorgans is very little. So with the help of genetic mapping technique, different genes they are identified which are located on different chromosomes in human beings. So the genetic mapping technique has greatly helped in the identification of various genes associated with the disease susceptibility or trait of interest.